Great evening, folks. Today is May 19th, 2020. It's a little after midnight, actually. And I wanted to get this video out regarding my ritual last night, or I should say the night before, Sunday, with Ritual to Lucifer, Lord of the Air, in regards to that ritual. I wanted to kind of talk about my Gnosis that I received from that. For those who are wanting to know a little bit more about the ritual I performed on Sunday, I will put a link to that particular video in the description here below. However, if you do want to check out the ritual itself, it is found in the book Rites of Lucifer by Temple of the Ascending Flame, edited by Asenath Mason. Okay, and it does detail a little bit. It does detail the ritual that I did Sunday night. I believe it's the fourth or fifth ritual in the book, and I think there's probably like a dozen or so. But I have done the previous rituals to this one up to this point, and I kind of wanted to talk about that as well, why this one made it out and onto my channel as opposed to the other ones that did not. And again, just some things that have kind of been brought to my attention, both during the ritual and afterwards. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, and kind of share that experience a little bit, okay? Now, I do plan on continuing doing other rituals throughout the book, and I am following through with them. The next one I've kind of read up on already, and it does require a certain type of setting. I'm going to try to make that happen as much as possible. However, more than likely, I will be doing the next ritual, my astral temple. More than likely, I'll just have to see what I can come up with before I do that. So before we get into the discussion, of course, I do encourage subscription to my channel if you have not subscribed. Again, the bell icon should be right over here on the lower below the lower right hand portion of this screen. Click on that and you will be subscribed to my channel and be alerted to any time that I put new videos out on the channel as well. I also do encourage that you share my videos with other people. You never know if somebody can benefit from them or not. And I do encourage likes and to my video, thumbs up. Always helps out. I'll leave a comment, and I will see about getting that answered as quickly as possible. So, why did that ritual make it to my channel last night as opposed to some of the other ones? Well, that's one thing I wanted to address, like first and foremost. Now, some of you may notice that as I've been putting out rituals lately, I've been adding text there so that people know what I'm saying in some portions of the video. I'm going to be honest with you folks. When I was doing that entire ritual, I was speaking to you, like I was speaking those words in the invocation the same way, like the same tone that I'm speaking to you right now. Okay, I truly felt that I was speaking loud enough, and then when I went through and I was editing the video and I was removing background noise and all that, I thought, my God, it's like I don't understand it. It's like, why can you why do these words not make it through, And yeah, I did have a fan overhead in order to cool the room down, but still, again, I went to remove that background noise, and through the software and all that. And again, I'm speaking in the same tone that I was doing that ritual last night, but those words just don't come through. And this is something that I have experienced time and time again with the previous rituals that I've done out of this book. It's like I would do a ritual, and either the video would come out shitty, and I would just scrap the whole thing. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna put that up on my site, on my YouTube channel, or the sound would come out bad. And I just swore to myself that I'm going to get this video out regardless of if it looks like crap or sounds like crap. I'm going to do what I can to get the video out, because I was thinking, I kind of said, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to look at it to my channel. And I knew that there might be some people that were going to be looking forward, to being able to view it. So, if you watch that video all the way through, and then when I get to the end, when I do the closing, when I'm reading, Ho Ophis, Ho Archaios, Ho Dragon, Ho Megas. I mean, you hear how that volume kind of you can actually hear those words without any difficulty. And I swear to you, I don't know if Lucifer is just fucking around with me or what, but it is what it is, I guess, up to this point. So, what do we know? Before I get into the Gnosis here, though, and a little bit more about the ritual last night. So we know, of course, that Lucifer is both an angel and a demon, or archangel and a demon. Okay, and in Western demonology, he is one of the four cardinal rulers of the world, and those others include Leviathan, Satan, and Belial, of course. He does govern the Eastern Quadrant, which is also the element of air, and he is known as both the Lord of Air and the Prince of the East. And I kind of did cover some of this last night when I, briefly before I did the ritual, but I kind of wanted to go over a little bit more and just kind of mention a few more things here. He usually does appear with horns and large wings and carries a sword, though he has been known to take on other forms as well. And he does bring with him the breath of the dragon, and this current of energy is ever flowing and ever changing, just as if just as the same as the air element. And the air element is also associated with higher intellect and other spiritual faculties. Just as the air element is flowing with continual change, the Luciferian initiate is also aware that this continual change, that they need to be in a continual state of change and a state of flux. And one of the main lessons here that the ritual is designed to do is to teach the initiate that nothing ever truly remains the same, that there's always a need to keep moving in order to succeed, not just on our path as in magical studies or occult studies or anything like that, but also business in other areas as well. I mean, if you look at it, if you look at any type of business, no actual business stays the same. I mean, they're always progressing. They're always doing something in order to, stay out ahead or stay on top or to be known or recognized. They just don't say, "Hey, here we are," and then they do nothing. You do that, and then that results in a state of inactivity, in a state of stagnation, and then there's no growth, there's no flow, and stagnation and inactivity not only is your enemy, but of course the enemy to the Lord of the Air. So Lucifer does have a tendency to remind the initiative of this, that the need to be ever changing and flowing with the current is a necessity. Okay, and the initiate, if they are stuck or unable to move in some way or take some type of action, Lucifer does use his sword to cut the tethers, shackles, or cords that binds the initiate, thus allowing the initiate to move forward at some point. Now, they may or may not actually know what that next uh, step is. In some cases, Lucifer will actually, help out with that as well. Um, the second purpose of the ritual is, of course, to initiate change in the initiate's life. Okay, and these changes can manifest quickly or slowly over the period of several months, and these changes can take many, many forms. And Lucifer is also aware of what those changes need to be and generally has a way to address them. Generally, when it comes to changes, though, um, they're usually not going to be anything too dramatic, although I've heard the opposite from some other people that have done path working with other entities, particularly Belial, for instance. Belial is very, very well known for saying um, that, he'll say, like, you need to get rid of this, or you need to get rid of this person, or, you need to change something. And the problem with change is that we as human beings are very comfortable um, with where we're at in a lot of time, in a lot of situations. And um, that could be a problem, and in this case, if there is somebody, say, that is holding you back um, from progressing in your studies or an area of your life, and you're invoking Lucifer, and Lucifer is, particularly in this ritual, the Lord of Air, he says that, hey, you need to change this, you need to get rid of this person in your life because they're holding you back. It's going to be a test. I mean, that's really going to be a test for you. He's going to see if you're willing to go ahead and part ways, with that person. And again, that in the long run is really meant to be more for a positive change for you. And I've said it before in a previous ritual, when it comes to practitioners of the left-hand path, a lot of us, I mean, are just loners. Where it's like the soul survivor or something. I don't know. It's when we deal with these gatekeepers and these demon lords, and we're doing our path working. We're generally looking for a way to progress or like ascend, spiritually. And this is the way that we do it, by working with, the nine gatekeepers and other demon lords and whatnot. And we're looking to grow and come into our own godhood and our own ascension. And this is the way that they do it, by saying, like, hey, you need to work on this, you need to change this. And if people, the people that are around you, if they understand what you're doing and they truly care about you, they'll be okay. That he's doing this thing or she's doing her thing. They will grow with you if they're truly, meant to be with you. If they look to keep you from making those changes, though, because they're afraid that that change may involve removing them from your life, then that could be a problem for you, of course. Because as I said, we're all looking for some type of ascension in one way or another. Even right hand path people are looking, for spiritual growth and attainment and ascension in some form. Uh, Left hand path, probably a little bit more, where we're just those types of people. So what came from this ritual? First of all, it was very enlightening. I could say that. Um, the first the first point that I knew that Lucifer was present in the room with me was right after the first several chants in the beginning, when I was calling the breath of the dragon, calling Lucifer forward, to come and to come into the ritual space. Again, there's that ceiling fan going on above me, and the entire time up to that point, that I was setting up, my ritual space and all that in the room, I could always feel that ceiling fan, that air flowing in the room. And then, after I had made several calls, and I was just kind of waiting to see what would to pair a sign or to get a presence. My sign, the sign to me was I felt nothing at that point. I mean, I didn't even feel the ceiling fan move the air in the room around me. It was like a dead calm. It was like you're standing in the eye of a storm, and it's just like there's like a total calm. And as soon as I had finished, I noticed that it actually stayed that way as well while I was doing the rest of the ritual. Is that stillness where I did not feel any air circulating in the room around me stayed like that until I closed that ritual out. When I got right down to that closing part, that's when I felt like that rush of air being circulated around in the room again. So that to me was that was my sign that he was present. That and the fact that you've probably seen me in the video. I was doing this because I just had this immense pressure in my head building up. Normally, when I deal with an archangel or an angel, I usually feel like a presence on my right side. Demons, I usually have a feel of presence on my left side. But here, it just kind of like hit me in the forehead, and you probably noticed me doing this for a couple minutes, and just trying to like get through that pressure feeling with the rest of the ritual. And then as I moved on, it was a very, very interesting sensation at that point. Now, not as interesting though as say much later in the evening. I had actually had a late dinner afterwards. I had dinner afterwards, and I was taking care of a few things and obviously processing videos and all that. And then I went to bed, albeit a little late, in the evening. But it seemed that as soon as my head hit that pillow, and I just like went off into deep sleep for the entire night. I did get up like one time during the evening to use the restroom, but anytime that I was from the point that I initially went to bed until the point that I woke up in the morning to get ready for work, I I was in a constant state of dream, which was which doesn't happen very often for me. At least, um, not that I've noticed, like in like any time recently. Usually, when I'm in a constant state of dream like that, I've done some type of large ritual work like this, working with usually working with Lucifer or another entity. But that whole idea of change and bringing about change was just like the constant, and then it's just something Lucifer is like pounding into my head like all freaking night long. In this dream state was okay. Um, it's like that's what he's just constantly telling me the whole time. It's like he had told me it's like, hey, I know what you want to do. I know that you're looking for um, some type of business work that you want to, you want to change your work environment, um, and you want to have certain experiences, relationship. He knows. He's basically just telling me like everything that I've been planning here in my head, like things that I know that I need to change and I want to change, like my diet, for instance, and get more physically fit back to where I used to be. Um, he's like telling me he's like I know all about that. He's like for these things to change, we're gonna I'm gonna help you with those changes. And he's like we gotta do this. We gotta make these changes for you to get back on track. And that again, it's just like hammering this thing like totally into my head. And I don't know who the female was in the dream. But it was just kind of like interesting. I guess the words that they used in the dream was, we're gonna kill you. And I thought that was kind of odd. And I was like, what do you mean you're gonna kill me? And they're like, well, we're gonna kill you in order to remake you, in order to make the changes easier. And that kind of when I remembered that when I was writing it down into my journal, the whole dream thing and all that. In the morning time, as I was getting ready for work, I kind of remember back to um, books I had read on Native American shamanism and a few other things where uh, shamans, or as people would, as initiates would get ready for shamanhood and all that, they would sometimes have dreams of being killed or dreams of death and then being remade, obviously, into a different image, or in order to um, take on that new responsibility. So I mean, yeah, it seems kind of odd that they would use the word kill um, in a dream, in the dream, but that's what they said. And I was like, okay, well, that doesn't seem to be like a literal sense. Obviously, metaphorical. Um, but again, just so many odd things happening. Like I had uh, like a goat, and this is like the other crazy part of the dream. The goat like chewing on my face and like eating away my face, and Lucifer's like, okay, and for this change, for us to initiate this change, we need to do this, and you'll and we need to change your appearance. And by that, I was thinking it's like, okay, so you're using using the word appearance as in like the word like image or something. I mean, that's the only thing I can figure out is they're saying that he's saying like, okay, well, for us to be able to affect certain changes in your life, we need to be able to change the image of the way people see you, for you to be able to, take on those, that new role. So again, it was just crazy, crazy dream, back and forth. Again, I got up at some point. I used the restroom. As soon as I came back and I laid back down, I looked. I remember looking at my phone. I was like, oh, I got 3 hours before I have to get up for work. And as soon as my head hit the pillow and I closed my eyes, it's like I was just like back in that dream state again. And there's Lucifer again. He's like telling me constantly, we're going to make these changes. This is what we're going to do. And it's like, okay, yeah, I understand. So now it's a matter of how or when will those changes come. In what form. What's going to be first. It's going to be more or less my need to address that and see those things. See those opportunities as they come up to say, okay, well, here's this opportunity I've been needing in order to make change in my health, for instance. How to change my diet or exercise or something like that. So, it's been just interesting. Very interesting Gnosis. For that, just something I kind of like wanted to share. I know that was kind of not very very descriptive with some of those some of the things that he's saying about Lucifer saying about these things need to be changed. But I mean, honestly, that's just what I remember a lot about of the dream, of both dreams, I should say, is or all of them, is the fact that that's that one word just kept resonating throughout like the entire time. It's like change, change. This is what we're going to change. We're gonna make this change, and it's just constant, constant. And in order to make those changes, we have to be ready to view it in a new light, in a different different perspective. And I think that's one of the benefits of using some of these demon lords and gatekeepers is the fact that they're truly and honestly there to help help mankind and help us to achieve our goals that we want, and in our lives. And I mean, it's not to say that angels can't. That's not. You could definitely do path working with an angel and come about probably to the same, same thing. Um, you know, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'd much rather work with an angel though, because they're probably nicer." Well, I mean, not really. I've seen some angels that could just like totally fucking kick your ass. Some angels are scary to behold, to begin with as well. But I could I could probably definitely say honestly though that if I had a choice between working with an angel or a demon, at this point, at this moment, for needing change, obviously, in my life, is I would probably want to work with Lucifer or another, or even another demon, to be honest with you, because um, they're going to be honest about it. I mean, if and it's going to be like them holding up like a mirror in front of you and saying, "Okay, for this change to happen, this is the first thing we got to change here," and if that change is that you're holding yourself back for whatever reason, um, they're going to tell you that, you know. Say, I'm going to hold this mirror up and I'm going to show you the very person that has been holding you from your success the last 5 years. Here you go. And you're going to look in that mirror and you're going to see yourself, and they're going to be like, okay, are you ready? Are you truly ready, to make this, to move on, to make the necessary change. And it's just like very interesting how how all these rituals I've been doing lately are all kind of coming together, like under the same subject matter. How I chose to work with the Lord of the Air ritual at this particular time, when I've been putting out other videos regarding change and the need to make our reality more malleable in order to affect our reality and make changes within ourselves. Um, and those are all types of Gnosis as well. Using the sigils of power for that, and using angels of magic for achieving those goals. You could definitely do that with Kabbalistic magic and all that. I just happen to prefer using Lucifer in this particular sense. So, it's going to come off a little bit stronger, but and a little more direct. But for some people, I guess that's what we need in order to really get off of our ass, in order to see the reality of where we're at and say, okay, this is what I need to do, and I need to go about and get it done. So, with that, folks, I think I'm going to go ahead and call the video at this point. Now, of course, if I have any other insights or gnosis, I'll be happy to go ahead and share those with you concerning the ritual. But other than that, I think we're just going to call this video at this point. And I'll get everything processed out. And hopefully I will see you all for the weekend. And I'll have a couple more videos come out at that point. Oh, the one thing that I did, the other thing I did notice, or I do remember about the dream, was Lucifer revealed to me a book. Okay, and he says, you need to read this book. And I just happen to have the book in my library to begin with. And I haven't read it. I've picked it up a few times and I started reading it, and then I put it down and I would end up reading another book instead. And then I would come back to it, and then I would start back from the beginning in order to try to remind myself of what was covered. And it's just kind of like been back and forth and all that. So I'm not going to reveal the book as of yet, per se, but he's just saying, he says, you need to read this book. This is the next book you need to read. So I have it. So apparently it's a book that is necessary for need to breed in order to help make some of these changes come about in my life. So we'll see what happens. So that, folks, I bid you a very fond farewell. Have a great evening. Peace. Good night. And infernal blessings.